let's get down to business, y'all. The Midwest and Great Plains have been hit with a severe weather outbreak, and it is not stopping. Today, a couple hours ago, I was in my basement because a tornado was coming close to home. So, um, we're gonna get into what the SPC Storm Prediction Center has to say about this, and what the forecast models are going to look like for tomorrow. Alright, we hop on the Storm Prediction Center severe weather outlook. I don't know if you can hear, but it's starting to really rain in the background because that's wave 2 severe thunderstorms. Um, so this is kind of towards the aftermath. It used to be a huge area of enhanced risk with a 10% hatch tornado chance, but again, it's 5% hatch now. There is still like a tornado watch where I am, so today is not over yet. But tomorrow is going to be a big day. Not the biggest that we've seen this year, but it's going to be big. Again, this is kind of still an enhanced risk, but by the time you're seeing this, it's probably June 11th, so we're gonna focus on that. We go to the day 2 outlook, which is June 11th. Huge area of enhanced risk. This was even bigger than today's, I believe. We have some of the biggest population centers in this: Chicago, Milwaukee, Madison, Grand Rapids, and Aurora, Illinois. Which these are all pretty big cities. It kind of covers a wide range of the Midwest. It has some Iowa, Missouri, Illinois, Wisconsin, Michigan, Indiana. So, and then for slight risk, there's a little thing over here, kind of by Pennsylvania, New Jersey, NYC area. And then there's a bunch of marginal and thunderstorm risks across kind of the southeast, down by Texas, Minnesota, that kind of area. So, let's look at the tornado chance. We have a 10% hatched risk. We have, so in the 10% area, we have Madison, Wisconsin, Aurora, Illinois, Rockford, Illinois, Naperville, Illinois, and Cedar Rapids, Iowa. For the 5% hatch, we have Chicago, Milwaukee, Grand Rapids, Des Moines, Joliet, Illinois, which is currently where I'm making this video from. Then in the 2%, we have Detroit, Kansas City, St. Louis, Toledo, Ohio, and Fort Wayne, Indiana. So that's kind of what the deal is in terms of tornadoes. For wind, we have a 30% hatched for all of Chicagoland, most of Illinois, the northern half of Illinois, decent amount of Michigan, Wisconsin, some of Iowa and Missouri, and a bit of Indiana. This kind of, I'm pretty sure this is the exact same pattern as the, so, basically to simplify it, the maroon 5%, that would be marginal risk, the yellow 15% would be a slight risk, then the red 30% would be the enhanced risk. It's identical. And then for hail is less of a concern. There is a 15% hatched risk or 50%, 15% hatched risk for Chicago, Kansas City, Madison, Des Moines, Iowa, and Aurora, Illinois. Some thunder starting to be out here. While we're at it, let's take a quick look at day 3. Because day 3, they don't have the tornado, the wind, or the hail thing. But let's head over. So we have a slight risk kind of for the northeastern part of the United States. So kind of Philadelphia, New Jersey, in the capital. That's kind of what it is, yeah. For probabilistic, about closer. So, the most amount of threats for severe weather, based off what they're thinking, is kind of New York, Philadelphia, Baltimore, Washington, D.C., and Newark, New Jersey. So now let's take a look at the radar and see around when these storms are expected to strike. Alright, so this is kind of what it looks like right now for Chicagoland. we have a bunch of kind of wave 2 of severe thunderstorms kind of heading towards or moving eastward towards Indiana, which that doesn't really matter because that is not the point of the video. Um if we look at kind of the whole country, this is what it looks like across the country. From multiple radars, we have mostly the area of concern is kind of along here, kind of through Kansas, Missouri, and Illinois. And then there's a little bit happening over here, but more will develop. And so let's look at the models. Alright, I figured out how to get the radar. So, I don't know how far in the future I'm going to be able to get this, but so we can go 48 hours into the future. We're going to start by going around 18 hours. So this is going to be 1 p.m. tomorrow. There's going to be some storms rolling in kind of towards the Chicago area, and kind of almost a line of storms developing towards Pennsylvania heading eastward. So if we go 5 hours to 6 p.m., this is CDT, by the way, there is a very developed kind of line of storms, very present, all kind of heading this way to their respective areas, but they're all one big line of storms. So kind of around 5 and 6 p.m. CDT tomorrow is when you're gonna really want to kind of, be ready. Because again, there's also a huge chance of tornadoes. Around 6 p.m. CDT. Now, this isn't going to be what actually happens. There could be some changes. The storms could develop differently. This is what they think is going to happen based off their predictions. So around 6 p.m. tomorrow, storms are going to be making their way kind of towards Chicago, towards Jefferson City, around Norman, Oklahoma, I believe, depending on which way it's heading. So, yeah. We go 24 hours in the future, 7 p.m. It's actually almost 9 p.m. when I'm filming this, but that little sound, that's them issuing a severe thunderstorm warning right now, present. So around 7, it's going to be slamming towards Aurora, Chicago. You have another hour. The storms seem to kind of less develop, or de-develop, if there's a word for that. But, yeah, the line of storms kind of still stays intact. Because it's still this huge line. And, yeah, I guess 48 hours in the future, that'll all be over here. So that's what that day 3 SPC outlook. That's some thunder. That's rumble in the house. But anyway, this was that kind of day 3 threat that they were signifying, kind of here by Philadelphia, New York, that kind of area. So, yeah, I guess that kind of sums up what tomorrow will be like. So, be sure to stay safe out there. And my name is Holden. I might be streaming tomorrow. I'll play it by ear. But if I am, check YouTube around 4 to 5 or 6 p.m. One of those times, probably 5. If I go live around 5, that would be the time I would go live. So, it's not guaranteed that I will go live, but if I do, you can go to the HG SideQuest channel. I will be doing kind of live storm coverage. I cover the tornado warnings and what you should do. So, anyway, my name's Holden, and I will see you in the next video.